All right, welcome to Implausible Nature, your home for all things Black Templar. Today we've got a special guest, Tom Ogden. Recently won the Sunken City tournament, placed fourth at Glass City and 20th at LVO, playing Black Templars. So, thank you, Tom, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And let's get started, Bob.
All right. So we just kind of want to talk a little bit about your most recent tournaments that you've played, kind of what your mindset was going into each of those and what you thought was the most successful. And then we'll kind of finish up and spend the most time in your LVO. But starting with Sunken City, we'll kind of walk us through a little bit about what you brought and why and how you felt the tournament went and moving on into Glass City and doing the same.
Yeah, well, all three of the tournaments I played Black Templars, and I'm just pulling up my list for Sunken City. So give me one quick second. Um, all of them are pretty much built around the same ideology of Black Templars, where it's I play Hero Hammer. I think it's the best way of playing Templars. Helbrecht and two chaplains, one of them being Grimaldos, obviously. I'm a really big fan of the Crusader blocks. I think they're very price efficient at what we do with them. They're very durable. They have 28 wounds the way I run them. They're only 250 points, so like when you get them fully buffed and they're 5 attacks each because you have fires on them, they're just insane amount of output. What usually catches people off guard for me is that I'll if I can get the reroll hit or off with the primary chaplain, I'll do a gene rot mop if I have a full squad. So you're doing like 70 plus attacks. Then I'm just fishing for sixes on high toughness enemies, whether it's knights, monsters, other vehicles, because it's just sixes to hit automatically wound. Especially if you get my turn one or two, people don't expect them to be AP two because you can put them in the. Sorry, just looking. I'm GM, so I have to look at my phone every once in a while if I have go off for work. But just the amount of damage I'm put the Crusader helmet on one of them, so you make them in the Assault Doctrine turn one or turn two. It's just they're insane. And then follow up to that, I'm a really big fan with Inceptors with Black Templars. I know a lot of players think they're just overcosted right now for Marines, and that's generally the case at 360. But when you can give like a sergeant an extra wound and either make them minus damage one, um, or ignore AP one and two, they're really good. They're very tanky. They give us one of those forward threats that a lot of people don't expect from Black Templars because ever since we lost Advance and Charge, they're fast but they're slow at the same time. So I have a unit that can hop up 14 inches minimum because you're going to get the D3 plus 3 advance from Grimaldus with them. And then using the new Emperor's Will to make them fire at full ballista skill is pretty sweet. But they also do a lot more of that. Like, for example, there's some games I played where I barely even shot them because like I like to go for secondaries allows me to score 100. I hate things like rod and stuff like that. So if I can't max my score, I don't even try to go for it. But it really surprised people when they'll see me combat squad them if I'm not going to get something I need like the output and just advance them up and just grab objectives and be like, okay, well, there's three guys here, toughness 5, 9 wounds. I can transhuman if I want. They're kind of hard to remove. The fact that we can make them objective secured is pretty sweet. And then attack bikes are also pretty important in my list because I need things with speed. It's really hard when you're playing a foot slogging army to get things like stranglehold or um, trying to get more objectives depending on who I'm playing against. I need those fast moving units. So when people usually see them, they're like, okay, well, he just wants them because they're 6 multi-meltas. No, I want them to move 14 inches. The fact that they bring 6 multi-meltas is like a bonus to me. Um, and then besides that, I also run Eradicators. And that's for things like Thick City and Monster Mash because I run them with the heavy meltas. So a lot of people like to try to talk to me like, well, why don't you just run them with the assault version because then you can Emperor Will them as well. But then that just kind of removes why I bring them. It really scares an opponent when they have something like, okay, I'm super tanky. I'm just gonna try to take the middle of the board from you because I play a mid bully list. And then next I know they have to see I have 12 multi-melta shots that are going to do minimum damage 5. So that scares a lot of people. And even if I don't get to shoot them at the targets I want to shoot them at, the fact that it puts my opponent on its back foot during deployment and makes them afraid to go to the middle with me and allow me to get set in the middle, that's what they're there for. That's my list. I did it at Sunken City. I did it at LVO. Glass City, I took out the Inceptors because Chester was like, I think you do better with just the third Crusader block the way you play, and so I agreed to remove the Inceptors for Sunken City, and I mean not Sunken City, but Glass City, and I regretted it every single game. Absolutely regretted it.
Yeah, to your point with the heavy meltas, yes, you can use Emperor's Will with them, but mathematically, the heavy meltas are better even with a -1 to shoot. And then if you can give them rerolls from Helbrecht or something like that, it's even better. And that flat, well, minimum, average 5 damage is pretty awesome. Getting that extra bonus. Um, so I would, if you have the points, I would take heavy meltas all the time because they're just mathematically better. It's like the same thing. Like if you want to run Hellblasters, the assault version is mathematically better than the other two. So
Yep. So in your tournaments, because I know there's a lot of questions online and within the community, what do you normally take as your secondaries with the list running your like you do?
It really comes down to my opponent, but my list is 100% built around Oath. There's no question, no matter who I play, what mission, whether it has a middle, second, or objective or not. I'm a bully style middle. Like my list is, I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna try to bully it, hold it, and basically starfish from there. So Oath is always guaranteed. There's never been a game where I've not maxed Oath, even when I've been tabled. I've lost 3 games with Templars now, and one of them I got tabled, and I still maxed Oath.
Yep.
Um, uh, I like Stranglehold a lot. I like Banners a lot. I like Assassinate against lists like Orcs that have like all the characters going to push forward into my face. It really comes down to, like, if you're playing a Psyker army, a Border Witch obviously is very fluffy for Templars and it's easy to max. I mean, just it really comes down. But my favorite two that I almost always take is going to be Oath and Strangle. Um, just because I'm so quick, people don't expect it when you move a minimum of 4 inches on your advance, what you can reroll because you're Templars. Things like Inceptors like that, and it's funny because it's a very slow army because we can't get to advance and charge anymore. But at the same time, we're super fast, and people don't expect it. When you just like turn to all your bricks already in the middle of the table, it's like, all right, cool, wherever you go, I'm just gonna try to charge you. Um, but that's the two I almost always go for. The third one's always different. If there's no good secondary and there's at least 5 objectives, Banners probably. If you have a lot of vehicles, Bring It Down's really good. Assassin's really good for the list. Um, Things like that. I try to stay away from, like, I like grind them as well, but I try to stay away from Take No Prisoners. I feel like that's a trap a lot of times. And it's hard. It's extremely hard to max. Um, I never take Rod ever. I refuse to take anything. I feel like you handicap yourself, and that's probably not the smartest thing to say because you look at Brad Chester and he takes Rod like every single fucking game. But I just don't want to. I want
I
something I
don't
can.
think it works that well for Templars, honestly.
Well, there's an argument. There's a lot of things you could do, especially reserves and servitors and stuff like that. You could max it probably reliably, especially since we're Marines and we can still do an action and still shoot. So things like Inceptors and bikes, or not bikes actually, but things like Inceptors like that. Guerrilla tactics within cursors that I'm running can do it quite reliably. There's a lot of ways you can do it. I just why would I take something that's going to make me play differently than I normally play and give me a maximum of 12 points?
Yeah.
Like you can do it. There's an argument for it, but it's just not my style.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with
Now,
you there.
I noticed on your list that you take attack bikes in squads of 3. Uh, have you ever considered splitting them up or replacing those with something like a land speeder that gives you some fly and a little bit more ability to move around the board? Or do you take those for a specific reason?
I've tried it in my practice games like the way, and it just I seem to have more success with a 1 man with 3 man. For one, if I have to give them the chapter master rerolls, I can. Because sometimes if I don't have to move the heavy eradicators, or even if I do move them and I can keep them with at least rerolling ones, and I really need to take out multiple targets, because you're getting 12 shots if they're full squad of rerolling ones, hitting on 4s. It's not that bad. You're still getting what average 7 or 8 hits that way. And I can give the attack bike squad 1 squad with the chapter rolls. Not to mention, it's a lot harder to kill 3 bikes than it is to kill 1 in each squad. So I can try to start reviving things easier since I run the apothecary. Um, I just find more success. I don't know. It's just there's an argument for it. I think land speeds are really good. You can try to move block a little bit more efficient with land spears, in my opinion, because they have a little bit more bigger of a footprint for a smaller cost. Unless you're running considering 3-man, but I don't know. That's just I like to be able to move. I do a lot of revive shenanigans when I play. And if I really need them to become a hammer, given chapter master rolls something that's just shooting up 14 inches and getting full rerolls, you're almost getting all 6 hits that way. So there's been some games where it's been like vital that I did that, and next time they got to go up behind this wall and shoot like a tank of titan behind or something, and just guarantee blow it up.
So we talked about secondaries a little bit. What do you think of the new missions where they removed the mission secondaries and are now it's a second primary?
I actually think, and a lot of them, they play a little bit to Black Templar strengths. So I think overall Marines, I think Marines get a little bit of a buff because it's um missions are kind of like encouraging you to interact with your opponent now.
Hmm.
And that's one thing where like Marine players have been hard to do because when you get these armies that are so efficient at just scoring 100 points without having to touch you or just avoid you, now they kind of have to come towards you, especially like the ones where have to kill stuff and things like that. So I think Templars overall and Marines are going to be in good shape. I think in July/August when we get version 2, we're going to be in much better shape as well. But I think it's healthy. It's healthy for the game. You're not going to see a lot of people like just sitting back. I'm going to hold this one objective, score 15 points, and just try to get 45 on the primary. You have to interact now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's one. I think it's called Abandoned Statuaries or something like that. It might as well be called Mission Space Marine because the second primary is all out holding the center, which we're gonna take that with oath all day long and just and dominate it. So
I think that mission should be called like Faith of the Emperor or something because it's just Black Templars are just gonna love it. We're gonna get super excited in that mission, rush forward, and just hold it.
yep.
So I presume you are involved and have been paying attention, obviously, as a tournament goer of the Tau incoming meta and the Elder Eye. Do you envision any changes to your list, or are you going to kind of just knuckle down and go forward?
Unfortunately, for major tournaments, I won't be playing Templars. Um, Even though they're my favorite faction, I refuse to give them up for small tournaments. I'll still be representing them because I have a very beautifully painted Black Templar. I mean, I just got it all back before LVO. It's fantastic. It's fun to play. It's literally my favorite faction. I own like 55,000 points of Black Templars.
Oh my God.
They were my first army. They're my favorite fluff. I've watched what is it? Well, I can't think of the name of the thing on YouTube.
Hell's Reach.
Hell's Reach. I've watched Hell's Reach like a bazillion times. In fact, we were watching like 3 days ago with some of my friends because I'm like trying to get them into 40K. I'm like, oh, you want to see a sweet thing? Watch this. Like I just love everything about Templars. Um, I envision myself, and I can't really say much here. From what I've seen from version 2 of the Marine book and the new units coming out, I envision myself playing a lot of Templars in that time coming. Until then, I will be playing a different army for the major tournaments. There's a lot of players in the Midwest right now that are like, we do really well in tournaments, but we all play like B tier armies. So a lot of us agreed that, hey, because like the Midwest is kind of getting crapped on by some of the other regions, that we're gonna start playing S tier armies and represent. You know what I mean? So like that's I mean I played all of last year with B tier armies except for one tournament, and I did all right. I think I took like 14th or 15th in ITC. And only played like 8 or 9 events compared to some people who's like played like 30. But I'm gonna jump on the S tier train for a little bit until version 2. But if I was to play Templars for the main tournament, still I would take very close to the list I ran for LVO. I think it's the best list for my style, and I'm never gonna be like that person. Like, hey, this is the best Black Templar list. We all play differently. We all have different styles. It's the best for my style for a bully middle. I think gives you all the tools, great psychic defense, great offensive capabilities, great durability. Um, I think it could beat any army out there. I think it will still be Eldar. I think Tau could be pretty hard if they play like the crisis suit spam, which is going to be absolutely insane for the meta. But it's healthy because I think it takes out some of the other top lists that are a pain for some armies right now. The only codex that scares me is GSC. I think GSC with NID allies are insanely strong, and I think it's like the perfect counter to my style list. They can remove my character support relatively easy, and they can do mass multi charges with units they're not afraid to trade with that do a lot of damage. A lot of them are flat 3 damage, so my feel of pain shenanigans is hard to get through. And they don't care if I interrupt and kill one of their charging units because they're hitting me with so many different charges every turn. They just trade really well. As long as I dodges them in a turn, I'm all right. Um, I think even a lot of people are afraid of new custodes, and I just got my ass kicked on stream against new custodes at LVO. But that was complete player error. For some reason, when LVO not thinking we're playing new custodes, and Chester was constantly like, "Yo, Tom, you need to read these." I'm like, "Nah, nah." I hope he watches so he can laugh. It's like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And the thing is, like, I'm a DM for T-Mobile, so end of November, all of December, first half of January, I'm just swamped with work, absolutely swamped. So I don't get a lot of chance to read a lot of the hobby stuff. So I went into LVO, not reading new codes, not reading new GSC, not thinking they were going to be there. Found out when we got those, oh, well, I probably should have read those on the plane or something. So I was more afraid of GSC, so I bought the book and was reading it during round 1. Played Custodes round 2, which would been nice if I did it reverse, and just completely misunderstood a lot of things they could do. And I went for like a bully middle tactic against them. First off, I had to go first, which neither of us want to go first because whoever has to flinch first is going to have the disadvantage. I had to go first. And I was like, all right, so I don't know how to play against this army, so I'm going to go what I'm comfortable with. I'm going to push the middle. And it was the wrong call. If I didn't realize how that army played, I would have not done that. But even with that drastic mistake, just because the strength of the codex and playing bully mid, I almost pulled it back turn 2. My counter punch into him with the eradicators and everything, he just not expected me to melt some of the things I did. And then, like a dummy, I forgot about all the units can just heroic intervention if they want. So I charged into his bikes, was going to get into his captain, didn't think about his unit coming in, so he was able to heroic intervene into my full brick, split my attacks up, and I took like one custodian guy down to 1 wound, one bike down to 1 wound, and the captain down like 2 wounds. So like, and then he did like 15 wounds back to me, and I failed like all the invones, no feel, no pains, and just picked up the entire brick. And then
Yikes.
what that ended up doing for him is what just collapsed me. It was happened on my turn. His turn, he gets to go, and now all his guys got all those free movement up through the pile in consolidates, and then just got into my back lines. And I was like, yeah, I was talking to him. I was super nice to him, and I was like, yeah, you're kicking my ass. Your opponent lives very well. Like, I'm not gonna be a salty guy. Like, the organization that I play with, I helped start it was Death or Glory, and the first thing we push is sportsmanship. So I'm trying to be a great sport. He's kicking my ass, which was cool. He was super nice about it. And then I was like, yeah, this game's pretty much over. He's like, no, you still got it. I was like, I'm looking, I'm like, are we watching the same game here, bud? You're about to charge all my characters, and I can't do nothing about it. So once you pick them up, and I got like a Crusader block with like 6 dudes left in it, yeah, it's pretty much over. Like, you did good. I'm not upset or salty. You did great, but completely misplayed against it. If we would react with what I know now, I don't think it goes as well as he thinks. A lot of people think like new custodes are just unbeatable. Totally not the case. You gotta play a little more cagey from them. They're the first army that I've seen that can take a melee hit. Like, what's really good about my list is when people charge into me, they don't understand. Like, I told the guy I was playing him at Sunken City, and he was playing Monster Mash with the Americans and 5 Tyrants, stuff like that, before Stampede. But it was like, Crusher version 1 before they released it as a Army Renown. He charged into me, and he's like, well, why are you so excited? I was like, because we're in combat. He's like, yeah, but I charged you. I was like, don't matter. You charge me, I charge you. Templars are happy when we're in combat. Well, that's not true with custodes. Yeah, they can take hits harder than us. Like, that's the cool thing with Templars. They're such like this anvil. They just take this hit and they hit back hard. Yeah, kill 6 or 7 of my dudes, and then I'm gonna just wreck you right afterwards. Nope, not with custodes. They're like just excited as we are to be in the middle and fighting and stuff. So it was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I was watching that stream, and it popped out a little bit on that first turn. I'm like, maybe, and you weathered that first turn, and then the second turn, I was like, oh man, he's got this. And then that heroic intervene happens. I was like, oh no, that flank is gone.
The thing
So
is, even if I would have kept that, right, if I would just made enough saves mathematically, because I made no 5-ups. I mean, I just completely, all damage to just completely whiffed my field of pain. I think I made one field of pain. If I could just
Wow.
mathematically made it and kept 4 or 5 dudes, even though I'm not gonna, they're gonna immediately die in his next assault phase. He's not in my lines. Like
Yeah.
it's not as desperate as it looked because he's custodes and he already just lost a shit ton of his army. Have my Inceptors and my Eradicators the very next turn, I would have picked a lot of things up. But
yeah,
I fully expected those guys to die. I just thought I would hold for a turn and I would do wounds, like pick
yeah,
1 or 2 guys up and let my hard hitters hit it because like I can lose my Crusader blocks as long as I have fast moving things to start coming back. It would have been a low scoring game. I probably could have pulled like a 65-70 victory out of that, which I'm not used to, but I did not expect me to whiff. And I'm not blaming my dice either. Like that happens. You need to account that you're gonna have some bad dice rolls sometimes because I've had moments where I've had great dice rolls. I went for a Hail Mary to try to bring the game back to even because I got out deployed and I played it wrong. I didn't understand his army.
yeah,
We talk about in coaching all the time. Like I do a lot of coaching on DOG for some people. If you don't understand things, ask the right questions. Prepare yourself. Put it on your clock if you need to, and ask him 4 or 5 questions. I went in not knowing his army, and I didn't ask the question. So I didn't practice what I preached, and I paid the price for it. I'm not upset though. He was still a fun game to play with, and everyone's got to lose sometimes. And I
Yep.
had all the other games were amazing. I met a lot of cool new friends. It was a great experience. I still represented Templars, I think, pretty well. Went 5-1, 100 games and 145 loss.
Yeah.
yep,
Took third overall for Renaissance, which I've never done that before, which is kind of cool. Only lost first place in Renaissance because I didn't have a display board. So I was the guy who ended up winning, which is a great player, Steven Box. He won first place in Renaissance, which is like best overall in points and paint score and sportsmanship. I had one more battle point than him, and I maxed all my paint scores except display board. So it was just
it's
close to winning
unfortunate.
Renaissance.
You're like, oh
It
man,
happens. So you mentioned close combat with custodes. Tell us a little bit about. We noticed that you don't have any traditional heavy melee units, Vanguard vets, Terminators, even Blade Guard. The Sword Brethren, those kind of units. Um, Walk us through your philosophy on having a more shooting focused army with just the Crusaders as your sort of main melee element.
Well, let me ask you a question. So when people run Blade Guard veterans, which is the most common thing you see in most lists right now, because they're really good Black Templars, how many attacks are they each?
Uh,
three
three,
to
right?
four.
Yeah, three
Three,
to four.
right? So 4 in a charge, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 3? No, it's 4 in a charge. So you're
Yep.
looking at 5 guys, what most people run them because they don't like running the 6 guy if you don't have to do the
Yep.
2 CP transhuman. So 5 guys. So you're looking at what, 21 attacks?
Yep.
Yep.
So if I hit every single time with those and wound every single time, and you're 2 wound models, I'm gonna kill maximum 21 guys. All right, that's that's their maximum damage output.
Yeah.
70 attacks at AP2 at strength 5 because of Hellbricht with full rerolls to hit with Gene Rot Mott, you actually do more damage. So you take 70. Let's do some quick math here real quick. Sorry, it's late tonight for me. So 70. So just from fishing for 6s, so when I do Gene Rat Mott, if I have a full Crusader block, if I have Gene Rat Mott just alone, I'm gonna get 22 wounds just for fishing for 6s. Means I roll all my dice, I take all the 6s out, I pick everything else up, all the hits, all the misses, and reroll again. That's 22 wounds coming through you from you. That AP2.
It's
Not to
pretty
mention
good.
all the wounds I get from all the hits after that second roll. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. My list is really built around 2 chaplains. Helbrick's cool and all because he gives me a chapter master roll, and he's absolutely worth his points, and he's an absolute beat stick. Unless he goes against Trajan, and then my guy just completely whiffed, which was sad to see. But he's been great for me, though. But my two lists, the two things on my list that's most important is first, I have Grimaldus that gives +1 attack to unit, which is how you get to 70 attacks with the
Fires.
Yep. And then you also have the Field of Pain, so devote or protection, right? So given a squad that big, 5-up Field of Pain and +1 attack, it's just crucial. Not to mention he has Crusader Helm, so no, that's for Grimaldus, sorry. For the Primaris Chaplain, he has Crusader Helmet, so he puts someone in the Crusader Doctrine or Assault Doctrine right away. He has, and he also gives him +3 inches to his aura. So he takes the +2 inches to, so Canticle of Hate takes +2 inches to charge, and +3 inches to consolidate and pile in. And then he does bombastic delivery a lot when a turn I really need him to get off. So he automatically gets that off, or the reroll aura, and then he tries the other one. So if I don't need the +2 to charge, for example, if they killed a guy and I could do a revive shenanigan and get my 2 inches that way, I guarantee I get off that reroll aura. Having 70 attacks with full reroll, and if I keep him within Grim or Hellbrecht's range, you make him Strength 5, AP 2, the damage is insane. At every situation, unless you're going full Terminator brick, they've always outperformed damage output, and they're more survivable. So you hit me with multi-guns, okay, here's pull two one guy, okay, I'll revive him back in a few moments, I don't care, kill a scout. Congratulations. Killed a scout.
You killed a model with a
Yeah.
4+ save. Good job.
Yeah.
Which he might have saved on a 5-up.
A 5-up, yeah, on a 5-up. And you can't wound him on 2s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the unit just, for its points level, just outperforms Blade Guard, and not just that, but since I run Black Templars, they allow me to stretch out further as well. And when I'm getting the plus ranges of Consolidate and Powin, it's unbelievable how fast you can pile those guys in and from across the board and get in combat. I've had people charge and they've been baited. It's like, oh, I'm going to charge here. And on the flank of him, he's only going to get like 5 guys to fight. I'm like, actually, you're within the 9-inch aura of, so they have 6 inches. And then a surprise when 10 of the guys are still fighting, 10 or 11 dudes.
Yeah.
So the Crusader blocks are just absolutely insane. The Crusader blocks, backed up by the Chaplain and my Inceptors, are my 3 MVPs.
Well, and you can devout push them too if you need to.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, and I love Crusader squads. I love that they are a really really good unit now, because for a long time they were just, oh, we're taking 5-man Las no neophytes, like, what are we, Ultramarines, so I really like that they are not only viable but one of the best units in our book.
And you think about it, for the way I run them, they're 247 points, I think, off the top of my head. A 5-man Blade Guard's what, 200 something?
175.
175, yeah, okay, so it's whatever. So 175. Yeah, they're about 70 more points, but they're way more durable. They hold way more better objectives. They hit harder. They're so good. In my opinion, I was gonna play Black Templars for no matter when the supplement came out. They're my favorite army. I've been wanting to play. I haven't played them since 5th edition. I love them so. But when I saw the Crusader block, like their stats and what you can do with them, I was like, yep. At first, I was running them in 20-mans though, but I was like, I wanted to find a way to keep them underneath 250, so I tried to find the best loadout to make them underneath that point cost. And I caught it at 247, which is 5 regular dudes, 1 sword brother, and 8 scouts. Get you to 247.
Yep.
So
14-man.
Yep, 14-man. Yep, I love it.
Yeah, it makes it really efficient. And that's kind of like the big debate within the community is like, do you want to use the blocks of Crusaders, or are you more going with the traditional elite to kind of run your list? And I've personally stuck with the elite side of things, but it's hard to argue with the results of tournaments. And
well, the problem you're going to have with that is Tao's coming out, a lot of damage 3. Eldar coming out, a lot of damage 3. Every time you fail a save against them and other things that have damage 3, you're literally picking up expensive models. I would rather pick up a 17-point model to a weapon like that than a 35-point model or a 50-point model, depending if it's a Terminator or not. You know what I mean? When I can get the same output and be more durable, like, for example, when I went against Crusher Stampede and they charged into my lines, they're like, yeah, cool, this is awesome. He's like, you're going to be scared. I'm going to crush you. I'm like, no, you're going to kill like 5 scouts with your big monster, and then I'm going to hit you back hard. That's what's going to happen. I don't care that you're D3 plus 3 damage. I'm not even gonna roll my female painter. I'm just gonna pick the guy up and put him aside. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like if I was running Terminators or Blaker, I'm like, oh man, I gotta try to make this female pains and try to at least keep one of these guys alive. Nope, enjoy killing my scout, bro. There you go.
Have fun.
That was great. I'll gladly trade 5 of my 17-point models for your creature because I'm gonna crush it in return. Like when these guys hit me with like a knight or a Demarican, and I'm like, yeah, Gene Rat Mott. They're like, what is that? It's a shitty Space Marine stratagem that no one used until Black Templars existed, and now it's amazing.
Yeah.
Here is, oh, you killed 4 dudes? Well, I still have like 50 attacks, and I'm still wounding on 6s, so I'm still gonna pop it for 1 CP.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the funny thing is like when I first started reading the Codex, I didn't even realize I could do Gene Rat Mott and it as a combo until my first game, and I played against 4 or 3 Dimericons. It was the first game I played with Templars. It was on one of our DOG streams. It's like, man, this sucks. What can I do? And I was like, holy shit. Oh, this strategy would be really sweet. I had to read it, double check, and make sure I wasn't like cheating, and they let me use it against like monsters or vehicles and stuff. And it was like my favorite thing ever since then. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And he killed like 5 dudes on that stream. So I only had like 45 attacks or something stupid like that.
Only 45.
Yeah. And like my first roll, I popped Gene Rat Mott and I rolled 26s. Right? I was like, I picked everything else up, rolled it again, and got 8 more. I was like, that's 28 wounds just from Gene Rat Mott. I was like, imagine if I had the full squad. It'd been glorious. But it was like, it was the greatest feeling in the world. When by the time I got done, just with an interrupt, by the way. And he picked up his Dimerican. He fought me with 1 Dimerican, killed like 5 or 4 dudes. I interrupted him with the same squad he just fought and picked up the other Dimerican. I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
I can get used to this.
So with using that, obviously it does not synergize with something like Psalm of Remorseless Persecution, which is a pretty great litany. Getting mortal wounds to go through, even if it's 6. We did a video about it where we talked about what the math is based on what kind of rerolls you can get and that sort of thing. You know, do you see that litany has a place in lists, or are you focused solely on using Gene Rat Might?
I think you can build around that. But for me, like I've had such great success running the way I'm running my chaplains. I just, I got that mentality. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
And the way I run my chaplains right now with like the 5 up feeling pain has won me games because they just I failed like 8. And this happened against Chess one time, and he was so mad. I was like, okay, I failed like 8 of my invulns. So I'm like, first one, takes 1 damage. Next guy, I boxed both of them. He's still alive. Well, now he finally does in the 3rd failed one. Like just stupid shit like that you can never expect. Or having +1 attack, I'll never get rid of that. That is the best litany with the way I run. Giving 14 guys +1 attack is just yes please. And then the second chaplain, like there's been so many times where I've barely gotten charged off and I needed that +2, or where I've been shut down where I got spread out so thin that I needed that +3 consolidate if I want to get into combat. And I have to have my reroll hit aura because that's how I fish for Gene Rat Mott. So it fits my playstyle very well. It allows me to bully the middle.
So the last real thing I got for you is, do you have any? I know that you're not going to be playing them now that you said.
I'm still playing them. I just won't play them at majors. So like there's a few of my friends like Chester and them are like, dude, like, why do you consolidate these B tier armies? Like I always won't tell you, I always end up in the top 4 still. If I don't win the event, I've won a lot more events than I've lost. But I'm constantly in these uphill battles. Like I do great rounds 1 through 3, except 12. I lost first time ever in 40K. I've lost in the first 3 rounds, but totally on me. Great guy though, still great guy. But then like these last 4, 5, or 6 rounds, I'll play against like the bad matchups for me, like these S tier codexes, and it's like I have to pull like the biggest tricks out my ass to win these games. And he's like, and finally Brad was talking me over. He was like, just play an S tier. Just play an S tier. I'm like, yeah, it's probably time.
Which one you picking?
Well, it's great because I played Black Templars in 5th, and then I played Tau in 6th. So, so it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
The last time I played Tau, I took him to the Final 4 at LVO. So hopefully I can get the same success out of him this time.
They certainly got what they needed. They were awful before. and they're much better now, which is good for them. Um, they didn't do what I think GW needed to do for them, which was to give them. Well, I mean, I guess Kroot got a lot better as far as that is concerned, but I was kind of expecting them to give them an actual melee unit.
Oh, they did give
Um,
us melee units this time. It's called
so
shooting in melee. Get in
yeah,
combat with me. Eat the plasma to the face.
right, yeah, which
Why do I
which is
want to swing
definitely
at you when I can just pew pew pew
just
pew? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. So, which is another solution to that, and actually works well for Tau. So yeah, but they
What I like about Tau right now is they made them very close to their fluff. So if you ever like read Tau fluff, they're all about like crisis suits, jumping in and out of combat, flying around very fast, backed up by like the hard artillery, and then all the additions of the codex until like for like one small time, it's always like the big shit carrying it with a few crisis suits and fire warriors like your compulsory picks. Like, oh, here's my 15 fire warriors. No, fire
yeah,
warriors are really good now. Breachers are super good. Crisis suits are, I think, of the absolute hotness of that codex.
Yep.
So Storm Surge is pretty good. Riptides, like, I don't think you'll see many lists doing well that's gonna be like, I have 2 Storm Surges and 3 Riptides. It's like, no, I have 1 Storm Surge, maybe a Riptide, and like 20 crisis suits. Or you're gonna see like the breacher bombs and the piranhas. You're gonna see like 6 of those. Like, there's a lot of cool things. They're gonna play very close to their fluff now. I think they're gonna be super strong. I think they're gonna have a few weaknesses. I think Eldar is gonna hurt Tau. I think new CSM is gonna hurt Tau. I think some certain Marine builds can actually hurt Tau, in my opinion. But Tau fix a lot of other issues in the game. You won't see Monster Mash much anymore because you're like, oh, I have a 3-up rerollable invuln Big Bird.
12
Yeah, well,
damage
I ignore
weapons.
invulns. I'm gonna shoot you with 6 shots that are strength or 4 damage each. That's gonna wound you on 2s, and you don't get a damn invuln. You don't get any save actually.
Yeah,
Like, I'm gonna put down my anchors before I get full reroll of hits, and then I'm not gonna pay the 2 CP and not give you an invulns and just shit on you.
yeah.
Like, that's what's gonna happen, and I'm grateful for that. I love it. I think they'll hurt Drukari very bad. Not that they need him because they just got nerfed today, but they're gonna still hurt a lot of the builds. I don't think you can play MS. It's gonna hurt some of the MSU spam builds out there right now because you can't really play a style when you have a bazillion smart missiles that are now AP1, ignore line of sight, strength 5. So like, just there's a lot of builds. I like the state of the game because there's a lot of paper rock scissors. No matter what army I look at playing, it's like, man, I want to play all these armies, but I don't want to play these 2 armies because these 2 armies will just hurt me. It ain't like it was in 5th, 6th, or 7th edition. It's like there's one army that just doesn't have no weaknesses, and then all the top players are playing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I quit the hobby at the beginning of 7th because of that.
I pretty
My
much did
ex
too.
at the
Like, I
time.
mean,
What'd you say?
I pretty much did too. I mean, I was still painting minis and a game here or there with my friends, but I stopped playing at the local game store because I would the Eldar and the Tau were just so oppressive. I didn't want to
And
deal with
Flying
it.
Circus. I think Flying
Yeah.
Circus was the most oppressive at that time. Like, so I was like, just got back from LVO. I took Final Four, and my girlfriend at the time, who's now my ex, she was like, "Yeah, you know how much money you spent on 40K this year?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Yeah, this." She told me the X amount of money. It was pretty stupidly insane. And she's like, "So either that's gonna go or I'm gonna go." And dummy me chose 40K was gonna go. But anyways, and I thought about it though. I really did think about it. I was like, you know what? I'm not happy with the state of the game. I'm playing Strength D Tau right now and I didn't want to play Tau that way. I abandoned the army I was playing to play Tau because everyone was playing Flying Circus, which was the demons that invisible. Everything was invisible. You need 6 to hit and rerolls and they get free chances to win everything on the board every turn. It was just stupid. Followed by Super Friends, which was the Space Wolf allies, where they had like their Thunder Wolf mounts allied with everything, and everything was invisible as well. And then you had Tau and Eldar allies that were just trying to strength T. Like,
Yep.
oh yeah, I want to charge you with my Stormtrooper. I'm going to stomp T, or I'm going to charge you with my Wraith Knights because I have stomp T. Like, it was a really silly point in the game, in my opinion, and I wasn't enjoying it. So walked away for 5 years and got brought back right before COVID. And I think the state of the game is the healthiest I've ever seen it. I enjoyed it a lot. And the biggest thing for me is that back in the day, there used to be a lot of got you hammer. Like, a lot of top competitive players were like assholes to each other and try and catch each other on the rules they didn't get to interactions and stuff. And I have very few games like that now. Everything's a lot of, or at least where I play, is a lot of play by intent. We talk everything out. Like, hey man, just gonna show you before I move. I'm 12 inches from you. If I get this advance, which I'm guaranteed to get this much, it means I'm gonna have like a 6-inch charge. You cool with that? Absolutely cool. It's a lot of fun. A lot of top players play that way now. I lost Final Four ACO against Brad Chester because not only were we good friends and we practiced a lot together, but we talked about things. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna put these raiders where you can't see them. I'm like, cool, agreed with it. I take my turn, and he forgot I can move an extra 3 inches as Dark Angels in the first turn. So clearly had all his raiders in sight because I can move an extra 3 inches he wasn't counting for. And I was like, no man, I'm not playing gotcha. I mean, you know what? If you know when I could move, you could just put these raiders here and I wouldn't have seen them. So I literally let him move his shit in my shooting phase. And it ain't just me that does it. There's a lot of people who do it. It's like it's a healthy state of the game. A lot of players out there. I see a lot more top players trying to help new players than we used to back in the day. It used to be like a very elitist mentality, like you're either one of us or you're a noob. Like, no, man, like, hey, you want to learn? Cool, let's talk about it. Let's go on there, let's chat about it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of paywalls now, I see. So that I'm not too cool with. But hey, everyone's got to make their bread, I guess. But I love, like, especially your guys' channel. Like when I talked about you guys, you asked me to come on here, and I was asking questions about it, and then I did a lot of research on you guys before I came on here, just to see what people thought about you guys. And you guys have a pretty good reputation in the Black Temp community. I had like 50 people messaging me after LVO, like, when are you gonna go on that channel? I was like, oh, I'm actually scheduled to go on with these guys soon. So I love channels like you guys that are like free, that try to give out advice, stuff like that. It's cool. Yeah. We have like a group called DOGs with Death or Glory. We do 0 paywalls. I'm on there all the time doing coachings with people, helping people out. Well, I haven't been lately because we have a major coming up, but I love the state of the games, and I like a lot of stuff's going on there. So, and I love Templars.
Yeah,
That's really
we
why I
have 0
started it.
paywalls too. I mean, we have our Discord. We have where Bob and I are on there all the time giving advice. We do have a Patreon, but it's stuff like just early access to videos. There's no exclusive videos for them. And they get like roles in our Discord and just cool stuff like that. So but
That
everything
type of
else
stuff's
is just
awesome.
yeah,
If
uh,
you do Patreon, it's like, hey, if you like us, support us. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's what I like.
yeah,
If you think we're worth the effort and you want us to keep doing this, help support us.
yeah,
But until then, like, people like, for example, if people can listen, watch a couple of episodes, and then they can make their mind like, yeah, I want to give these guys some Patreon money. These guys are awesome. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
yeah.
I think a lot of people in the current edition of the game, they get tricked into the paying for coaching and these paywall stuff, and I could be wrong. If anyone's listening here that does paywall stuff, not trying to offend you, but in my opinion, from what I hear from a lot of people, they only want to help them get so much good to keep you on there, but they're never going to want you to get better than them, because then you're going to stop paying them for coaching.
Yep.
And that's my opinion on it. But and I could be completely wrong, and who knows? That's my personal opinion. There's very few people I've seen that actually do coaching right. For example, Brad Chester, he does have paid coaching. But the amount of time that man, I've been next to him. He'd be like, we'll play the game. Like, oh, I got quick, I can do it. Jump in his coaching call. He's only supposed to spend 30 minutes with me. He'll spend 2 hours with him. Like that type, I can see that. Like Brad really cares. I like that, and I'm sure there's other people that's just as good as him. But the majority of what I hear about or see is not like that. So that's why I'm very anti paywall. Yeah. I refuse to go on any podcast besides Unbroken because Brad makes me. That's paywall, but no, I like your guys' channel a lot.
Well, we appreciate that. We're just trying to build a great community of Black Templar players, and um, you know, uh, just make a great community of folks that are helping each other. And something that's really rewarding for us is, we've our Discord's been growing pretty steadily, and it's great because Bob and I can't be on there all the time to try and give them advice, but more recently, as it's grown, we've been seeing people like ask questions, new people, hey, I'm new to Black Templars, XYZ question, and see other members of our Discord jump in with great answers and great advice. And that's what we want. We just want an
Absolutely.
awesome community.
That's sweet. I mean, Black Templars are, for those listening to like Black Templars, I think they're in a good spot. I don't think they're S tier, but I think they can beat majority of the S tier codexes if you play right. For one, we have a small advantage where people don't tech against us. They don't respect Templars. They don't respect Marines. I'm not gonna name a name, but I played Marines and I played against top player at ACO, and super nice dude. He's like, yeah, okay, you didn't want to play this mission because I was playing with Dark Angel time. He's like, but you're playing Marines, so I don't care. Like, and then I beat him. He was like, the hell? Okay, so like I think we have the advantage where they don't expect, and I think
Yeah.
Templars, in my opinion, are one of the two strongest Marine codexes right now. They're just so durable, and there's so many good ways of playing them. Like I don't like Blade Guard veterans in the list. I think they're very good, and I think they're worth their points. I just think Crusader blocks outperform them, at least my style, the way I play. But the fact is that they're still a very viable option. Terminators are absolutely fantastic. Ben Sherwin plays the Terminator list. Ben's probably one of the best Black Templar players out there. He's been playing them in tournaments longer than most of us. I gave him shit at LVO because he wasn't playing them. He was playing Stampede,
Good.
and I was like, I gave him a lot of shit for that. It's like, you see me here repping them. I told you I wasn't repping. You told me you were gonna rep them. I don't see you here, but there's just so many builds. Like you can even build a shooty Black Templars. I made one as a joke one time because I got challenged to do that on my Discord. And like, all right, well, next year I want to see you play a shooty Black Templar. All right.
Bob is infamous on the Bolter and Chainsword for back in, what was it, 5th edition, Bob? Being the picking all the shooty stuff because Black Templars had like a 4th edition codex with like all the options that had gotten
Third edition
removed.
codex and fifth edition. We had third edition.
So yeah, it was he got a lot of criticism back. That was back in the day when like a bolt pistol gave you an extra attack in close combat. So we were like bolters are for no, we want bolt pistol chainsword, and Bob was like, no, we need guns. We need guns.
I actually won my first tournament Black Templars. I ran mass shooting dreadnoughts. They were Contemptor dreadnoughts when they first came out. More Spanish Contemptors dreadnoughts in 5th edition. I ran max, 6 of them, 5-man squads with las cannons. I ran 3 regular dreadnoughts that were shooty, and Black Templar rhinos, which were land raiders, because we don't have rhinos, we have land raiders.
That's right.
Or Crusader pattern. It was like the most shooty thing you've ever seen for Black Templars, and people, when you ran land raider Crusaders with that blessed hull for that codex, and the hotness of time was Dark Eldar with their lances. Like, yeah, lances don't work against me, brother. Best you can do is glance me out. That's the best you're gonna do. My bolters are gonna shred the shit out of you. I was like, yeah, I got. He's like, what do you mean you got 12 bolter shots? Yeah, I got 12 bolter shots, bro. This is great.
Yeah.
Everyone used to mod like the bolters on the front of the land raiders. By the way, you get that extra 2 inches.
Yep.
Even though it looked goofy as hell. Like, yeah, I don't care.
Yep,
You can
everyone
tell-
did it. You wanted the extra inch.
Yeah, it was 2 inches actually. But you could tell who the tournament players were and who were the fluff players. The fluff players had like the bolters on the back of the land raider they're supposed to be. The archers were like, nope, in the front.
Yep.
In the front's where it needs to be.
Firing arc too. That was
Yep.
important.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
dude. My list was like so weird. People are like, what the hell? I thought Black Templars was close combat. They are. Not my Black Templars. I had like my fluffy army I played for fun at this local store, and we went to tournaments. It was like all las cannons and dreadnoughts. It was like the most ridiculous. Like it would not make
Dreadnoughts are
sense in
awesome.
fluff at all.
I love dreadnoughts.
Oh yeah, and I used to people just laugh. I'd be like, yeah, I brought Black Templar rhinos. And like, what's that? It's like these. They're like, those are lanterns. No, these are our rhinos. They're like, what do you mean? So we take them as dedicated transports. It's all good.
Yep.
Well,
All right.
I want to thank you for coming on today.
Yeah.
It was a blast, and taking an hour of your time to sit and chat with us, and I hope that you can cycle back to the Black Templars here in Majors here soon. I'm hoping to rep in this coming 2022 here myself, so that'll be really kind of cool to see and meet some of these people that you watch on stream. So,
All right. Well, like Bob said, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time and talking not only just Templars but sort of the state of the meta as well, and tournaments and things like that. So it's been a pleasure. So
Well, I'd like to say thank you to you guys for having a kick-ass Black Templar channel.
thank you. Thank you.
I feel bad because I've been out of the game for a while, and then like I'm so busy. If I'm not at a tournament, I'm running a lot of DLG stuff because we're going pretty big in the Midwest right now. But I'm absolutely ashamed that I'm such a huge Black Templar fanboy, and I haven't heard about you guys until you reached out to me because you guys are pretty popular after LVO, and I literally had a spam of people asking me why am I not going on your guys' channel. So I was like, and one guy's like, how do you guys go on a different podcast before we go on theirs? Like they're the Black Templar. And I'm like, hey.
I was like, they beat me to it. They beat me to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and thank you to everyone, all of our listeners and our patrons and everything like that. Come check us out on Discord. We've got a really, really active community of folks. Like we said before, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a great community. So please come check us out. Hit that subscribe button and like, and we'll see you next time.